I guess I had to turn it. Here.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I know where you stole this from.
No, he gave them to us.
He gave it to us, I think, last year.
Didn't
No, he
give
gave
me
it to us.
one.
He gave it to us as soon as we got these.
And I got a blue one, so.
I got a blue one, but I didn't get a white. Okay, so somewhere.
Oh, that's right. I got a white one last
Oh,
year
you
too.
got it?
Yep.
I'll
Okay.
just hang on to this one. She just got one.
Yeah.
I'll just use this one.
You can have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ready?
Yep. Ready to go.
Mary, this thing does not turn on for me. I'm telling you, it hates me.
It's possessed.
I call the meeting to order.
Did you get it going?
Mm-mm,
It's not on.
it's not on. I call the regular meeting of the City of Aransas City Pass City Council, regular meeting November 18th, 2019 at 6 p.m. All rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Dear Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the country that we live in, my Father. As we approach Thanksgiving, my Father, we look back over the year, my Father, and all the blessings that you have bestowed upon each and every one of us, Lord. Our town, the blessings that are coming, you've opened doors, you've met some of the needs that we have. We still have a lot more, Father, but we know and we trust you that you can meet the needs of the city and each one of the residents, Lord. Thank you for all the blessings. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
HB 2840, approved by the 86th Legislature, states that the governmental bodies shall allow each member of the public who desires to address the body regarding an item on the agenda may do so either before or during consideration of the item. Citizens who wish to speak on an agenda item will have an opportunity to address the body before the item is discussed and will be given a 3-minute time limit to make their comments. Now we go to presentations and proclamations. Chief Eric Blanchard.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Assistant Mayor, that'll work. Assistant Mayor and Council. Unfortunately, our gentleman was not able to show up today, but what I have here is a chief citation that I was going to issue to him, and this basically says, thank you for being a good Samaritan and stepping into harm's way to assist a Aransas Pass police officer in need, October 25th, 2019. And I'll sum it up to you instead of reading the whole thing. I'll hand deliver this to him later on. But Jessica had responded to a call of a crash, a rollover at Cleveland and Commercial Street. The vehicle had flipped over. It was one of our regular frequent flyers. He didn't have enough miles to take our ride until later. But anyways, he decided to run on foot. Jessica found him, got out of the car and immediately tried to engage him. He took off running through a field behind a house and like an alleyway or whatever. Mr. Copeland happened to be out there walking his dogs to take them potty or whatever and saw him coming, so he tried to throw this moving shield in the way. Could hear Jessica yelling at him and trying to catch up to him. And he basically sent him off another path to where he tripped. Jessica was able to get on him and bring him into custody, and Mr. Copeland stayed there as her primary backup until other officers showed up. So we really appreciate him jumping in, getting involved. And when you get involved, we recognize you because you're our heroes too when you step up to the plate. Anyways, we will hand deliver this chief citation. It's one of the highest awards that I can issue out to any person.
That's awesome.
All right.
I
Awesome.
Item 5, consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests. If discussion is desired, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. And it's the approval of the regular minutes of October 7th, 2019.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
All in favor?
I
Oh,
second.
Saver?
All in favor?
Yeah, aye.
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 Okay. Go to the city manager. Number 7, consider an act on the issuance of a request for proposal for the Pelican Cove fence replacement.
This is an issue with which you are very familiar, talked about for a long time, and at the recent work session also, actually just requesting staff to publish an RFP to replace the wood fence at Pelican Cove destroyed by Hurricane Harvey. That, in a nutshell, is what we are asking, and that is what is before you.
Well, I make a motion that we,
Yes, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Carol Salinas, resident of Aransas Pass. I understand that this is being paid for by FEMA. It's not going to come out of our city budget per se, but I still want to go on the record and let be known, Pelican Cove fence is a private fence. It was not built by the city, has not done, it does no purpose other than provide privacy for the residents of Pelican Cove. So it has never, this came up 4 or 5 years ago, and one thing at that time with all the controversy that was going on, no one ever claimed that the city owned that fence. So for us now to be claiming that we own it, I'm not sure where that came from. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary, for sake of the new audience that didn't hear it last time, can you explain where the property line is?
Yes, we, for the first time, we ran a survey. This is the first survey run on that property. And our original intention was to see if it was on the railroad right-of-way, because they would prohibit it, certainly if that were the case. It is not on railroad right-of-way. They found out it was on an easement that the city, it's a utility easement that the city has through there. That's where it was located. That's where it is located. I don't know about the history, but I know what the survey says. And again, and Carol is absolutely correct, FEMA will pay for it, and we anticipate any match, which would amount to around $6,000, will also be covered. So the city will not be out any dollars for this, just for the record again.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we authorize staff to go out for RFP for the replace the wooden fence at Pelican Cove.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7.2, monthly municipal court report for October 2019.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is our activity report for the month of October. Cases filed 198, convictions filed 68, county magistrations 45, no capus pro fines were issued, Class C warrants 91 were issued, CID warrants signed 20. We had approximately about 101 people walk in for different things, questions, pay, court, and we issued 6 emergency protective orders. I met with the subcommittee this month twice. I'm working with the Tyler Technology and setting the online payment, and we're getting very close. We have training set up for this week. Our court will be participating in promoting traffic safety. We'd like to have our court recognized statewide. And the events that we have participated so far was National Night Out, Character Walk at the Falk Elementary, and Trunk or Treat. We issued sticker books and storybooks to the young ones, and bicycle safety, crossing the street, car seat safety, and it has a lot of activities, these books, and I feel they're very educational to the young ones. Millie attended Excel training. It was held here in Corpus. And then the OCA report on page 6. The total collected for the month of October is $20,616.55. The city stays with $13,202.31, and the state, we sent $7,114.24. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we'll go to Development Services, 9-1. Consider an act on ordinance number 2019-4276, amending the City Code of Ordinance, Chapter 5, Buildings and Construction, Article 1, in General Section 5-2G, amendments to and modifications of building code, building permit fee schedule, demolition fee, building moving fees, providing for publication, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, this is basically changing our ordinance. It's something that we've spoken about before. Basically doing away with the $400 deposit in an effort to have more people be more responsive of demolishing dilapidated structures in our city.
And this is based on something council suggested also months ago.
Yep, one of the work sessions. Thank you. Okay, 9-2, consider an act on ordinance number 2019-4277 of the City of Aransas Pass, readopting the flood damage prevention.
Yeah.
No, sorry about that.
The ordinance, right under the demolition fee.
Yeah, the 9-1.
Yeah, I didn't open it up. We need to act on ordinance number 2019-4276, amending, I don't have it open on mine. Do you have it open on yours? Okay, an ordinance amending City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Buildings and Construction, Article 1, in General Section 5-2G, amendments to and modifications of building code, building permit fee schedule, demolition fee, building, moving fees, providing for publication, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
Okay, well, I make a motion, we approve ordinance number 2019-4276.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
9-2, consider an act on ordinance 2019-4277 of the City of Aransas Pass, readopting the flood damage prevention regulations as prescribed in the Flood Control Insurance Act, Texas Water Code, Section 16.315, as applicable in Aransas County, Texas, San Patricio County, Texas, and Nueces County, Texas, and providing for an effective date.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, this is, we decided we were going to redo the ordinance, completely redo it, rather than have a bunch of amendments to it. So this is for clarity to have one document, having an ordinance in one document. It also allows for any time that we have a map change, that it's automatic, that we're not having to come back and recreate the wheel. That's basically the change in a nutshell. And it would still be in effect, goes into effect December the 20th.
December what?
December the 20th of this year.
Thank you. Any comments or anything? Okay. Then,
I make a motion that we amend the FEMA flood map ordinance.
all in favor, oh, do I hear a second?
I second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we go to monthly building department, October 2019.
Well, you just stand up here for a
I
while.
might as well just stay here a little bit.
Mhm.
It's pretty much the same thing. We had 140 permits this month. We're maybe a couple of $100, $400 or $500 above on our permit fees than we were last year. But it's maintaining, it's staying steady. We have lots of new business coming to town, and homes are, as fast as we can get them in the door, we're getting them out, so. I don't know, I think our fees were relatively the same, they were. So, we also, and I can give you an update on our demolition program. Let me hand these out to you.
Notice that the
I have
home on the
a copy.
corner of Lamont and Stoddard, was it Lamont and Stoddard went down today? It was a manufactured home.
Oh, good.
They were cleaning it up.
What this map shows, and I've been getting questions from a few of you, and
Okay.
I thought I'd better clean this up a little bit. The green, it's kind of hard to see on here, the push pins, but that's directly related to Hurricane Harvey, right directly after, which I find funny that, or not funny, but odd that there were only 30 demolitions right directly after the storm. Right up until Miss Roxanne came on board and we started our demolition program. The white dots that are shown on here, we started in August of 2018, and this is up through this month. I had another one today that's not on here. So it's been a little over a year. We've almost doubled what was done the previous year. We've got 56 this year, and for a grand total right now of 86. Well, counting today, we'd have 87.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
And anytime, I don't know, maybe I'm overstepping my bounds, anytime any of the council would like to come to one of our meetings, I mean, I don't know if we can do that or not, but it might be, is that something we could do? Or
We
demo
couldn't have a
meetings?
quorum present unless we posted,
no.
but if one of them or two of them wanted to attend, that would be great.
Like our meet and greets?
We also are having our demo meetings again. We've revamped that every Monday. So today we met, we dealt with 26 properties today.
Yes.
Wow.
And there was another demolition that happened over the weekend
Yes.
that's not on here.
Yeah,
And not the one
DeBerry and.
you're thinking about. So
They're all
Campbell,
running together.
somewhere?
Yes.
we definitely are getting responsiveness now, and it's good to see. We're also getting into structures where they're sort of gray, not black. In other words,
Kind of sort.
probably better to demolish it, but you could spend the money if you wanted to. So it's interesting to see how we're progressing pretty good and pretty fast. We still have some black structures to address, don't get us wrong, but we are doing as fast as furious as we can, and thank you to the public for being responsive. A lot of the problems that we are undergoing, it was so wise of the council again to tell us to do the meets and greets, because in our meets and greets, there are all kinds of small issues that they just weren't able to resolve that we can provide them a resource for or help them to get resolved. And it's actually making a lot of positive difference in people's lives. So thank you for your wisdom, and we'll continue to give you updates.
I was wondering, are most of these homes or buildings that are being demolished, are they rebuilding or what's happening?
A lot of them are,
Okay.
yes. Currently, we have the general land office is coming in, and as quickly as they're knocking them down, they're putting some back up in its place. And I see Pro Tem.
No, the only thing I have to say about that is I am super happy that they're doing that. But I think that when they come in and they're going to demolish something, I really had a problem with the one on Commercial, because that's commercial business, and they're building a residential home there. We should have swapped another piece of land someplace to get that house into the residential area.
And
That's my,
something we may want to sit down and.
that was something that I had an
Visit with
issue
Now, the
with.
council
meet and
on,
greets
'cause
that
that's
we've had though, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, are not GLO properties. The meet and greets, a couple of them might have been, but not the majority. I mean, these are like serious property owners themselves weren't demolishing what they needed to get demolished.
When we get into, when.
But point well taken
the
on your recommendation.
relocation, we get into a whole another bag of worms, for lack of a better term. You know, how would we do that? How would they relocate them? That's something that we probably need to sit down and talk about. How to legally accomplish that.
And I don't know if there were any other GLO homes coming up on commercial property.
I don't believe
So-
there are.
So
No.
two next to each other, the trailer that went in, next to them.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
And
So-
right, wrong, or indifferent, you know, we spent $42,000 last year on the LWR building.
That
I
needed to be
appreciate
done.
getting the funds this year for the budget, but right now I haven't spent any. And so we've accomplished a lot with, just, twisting people's arms and sweet talking them into it. So,
Well, I don't think it's just sweet talking. I think the
It's a
property
need.
owners know that if the city demolishes it, we're using taxpayer money and we're gonna lien their property.
And we don't
And-
wanna do that.
And we don't wanna do that, and it turns out they don't want that done either. So it does show an investment into the community. As soon as we get the majority of all these down, and we're getting really close to that, we're gonna start working on that proactive rebuilding, sense. I've got some ideas that I'd like to bring forth to the council, but that will be for another day.
Awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Great job.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am?
Under these new rules, if we have a comment or something that pertains to what he's saying, do we wait till citizens'
No,
comments
come
or
back.
No, you can
You
come
can
right up,
speak.
either before or
At
after the
each-
item.
At each item.
at each item?
Mhm.
Okay.
I just kind of am wondering, we've got businesses that are coming, unauthorized businesses in unauthorized zoning areas. I don't know if they're being issued permits or not. One, and I will say the name, Premier Storage, that is not in authorized use in that area. They come in, they start building, and we know it's wrong. What do we do about that? Is there anything, I guess, to say, to punish these people that are doing that? Shame, shame, don't do it again, and it's too late now. But that is my question. I know you guys cannot respond, but
There is an answer. I don't know if it's appropriate to answer at this time, but that is being addressed.
Okay.
On that specific business.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Now we go to public safety. Consider an act on approving the disposal of a damaged patrol TV.
No, Public Works.
Oh, did I skip Public Works? I didn't think you had anything to say. Sorry.
And finance.
Well, we're moving right along.
Oh, I did
We're at
say
nine,
public
four,
safety.
ma'am.
Yep.
I'll come up anyways.
I don't know why, I just skipped right over you.
Evening, Mayor Pro Tem Council. Before you have the month of October report, if you notice in our stop sewers and water breaks, those have increased in the month of October. With the colder weather, it tends to happen. Just forewarning our residents, in this time of season, they start pouring a lot of their fatties and grease down the drains. With the cold weather, it clogs up and it makes these stop sewers and it breaks our lines, so just they can dispose of it properly instead of down the sink. That's what's increasing our water and sewer breaks, is there's a lot of grease going down the drains, and then the cold weather also is impacting our water lines. Hydrants this month, we had 4 that were replaced in October. Dead and flushing is gonna remain 67, with the exception on this next month, there's gonna be some more since we had a water break down the street. That calls for additional flushing, but on a regular basis, we do 67 as per TCQ regulations. Line locates dropped a little bit this month. I think with the holidays, a lot of the contractors start doing some other work and go home for the holidays and then resume back in January. But like I said, our highest month for breaks and stop sewer is gonna be these next 2 months in the winter time, so. In the street department, we finally got around to paving the street. We finished Ebert Street. If you haven't gone out there to look at it, it's a
I
nice,
have.
beautiful
It's
street. It's
nice.
nice and paved now. They have water service, so our next step is to start looking for sanitary sewer in the area, so we'll start looking at that for future projects. The curb and gutter, we've been still working on maintaining our curb and gutter right now. The guys that work down Wheeler, Cleveland, start hitting the main commercial areas. We are working on the sweeper, so once we get that in hand, we'll start running it through the streets and downtown areas and get a schedule going to keep the main areas at least well kept.
I have a question on that. So can I interrupt right now? On that curb and gutter cleaning, I know that we're gonna start, will the street sweeper pick up because I know it's been piling up for, or is it something manually, or will
No,
it
the
be able?
sweeper, that's what the crews go ahead of them and do any weed trimming and stuff to try to soften everything up. And then the sweeper itself has brooms on both sides that push it to the center, and it has vacuum on it that will pick it up. You can adjust the pressure on those brooms depending on the amount of material that's on there. And the beauty of the one we have, it actually has a camera right in front of the sweeper. So if it's leaving material behind, you can catch it right away and back up and pass it without having to do the whole loop again. You can watch as you're sweeping to make sure it's picking it up.
Okay, 'cause I know some of them are pretty thick, but good,
Yes.
okay.
So we'll be working on that, and once we keep it hopefully in a maintenance program, then it'll be easier every time we go around.
Okay.
Potholes, like I said, most of the focus this past month was on the paving, and then still working on ditches and curb and gutters. On the citywide projects, we added a project which is a dog park. If you haven't been out there, we scraped entire grass off. We did about 3 or 4 inches off the entire area, disposed of it. They've already installed the agility equipment, and there's 2 shade structures going up that were being installed today. There's gonna be 3 benches out there, trash receptacles. We added water receptacles on each park so they can fill bowls of water for the animals. And we've ordered the carpet grass, so the entire site is gonna be carpet grass, so it's a nice clean area for the pets. So the grass should be installed the rest of this week, and then the next 2 weeks we'll be watering it just so that it catches on, and then after that we'll reopen it to the public.
Nice.
This next month in October, you'll see a lot projects kicking off in full gear. We have the Canberra Harbor Lighting Project out for bids. We have the City Hall roof project that'll be kicking off. We have the City Hall hardening project that's out for bids. And then the Civic Center, HVAC, electrical, and audio is out for bids right now. So you'll start getting more information on those in the next 2 months. And then we're looking at task orders for the bulkhead and the SCADA system to be coming in to y'all hopefully in the next meeting. So there'll be more projects kicking on. So, any questions?
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm not gonna miss you. Next is finance. The monthly financial reports for October 2019. I just made my notes below.
Okay, good evening. This is the first month of the fiscal year. Do you have my stuff? Yeah, okay. Pretty much, you know, it's month 1. The Civic Center is still struggling there to make some revenue. It's not 100% completed. The Aquatic Center, obviously, we don't have any revenue for the Aquatic Center since it's closed. The next slide just pretty much shows in a graph format where our revenues projected as the filled-in bar, the blue, and then the red dots. The dots are coming in as to where they came in versus the actual. So everything came in pretty good. Then the next one is the expenditures, the same thing. Budgeted is the bar, the lines is the expenditures. The good thing about this is that we noticed that the expenditures are coming in under budget, and that's really what we like. And the previous one was that the revenues were coming in above budgeted, so that's really good. So then our next slide is the property tax, what we've collected. I know it says year 2000. I'm going to put fiscal year, so that point of reference that it is fiscal year, not October. for 2020. So I do apologize about that, but I will be making that change for next month. So we have the collections there for 2020, 19, obviously, and 18. We assessed more taxes, so therefore we are collecting more taxes. Our next slide is our sales tax. And you'll notice 2018, that was the beginning where we started to taper down after the storm, after the hurricane happened. And then we have 2019, we started to rebuild, and now we're sustaining that in 2020. Our sales tax growth is growing, and we have been able to sustain that. So we're very happy to continue to see that growth. Our final slide is combine our whole 2 pennies, the MDD, crime board, and the city combined, and that's what we've collected year to date for the first month of the fiscal year. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now we go to public safety. Public safety includes police, fire, EMS, harbor, and emergency management. And 12.1 is consider an act on approving the disposal of a damaged patrol TV.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Council. That first item, the TV, was purchased a few years back for our patrol room. We hang it on the wall. It gives the officers that are doing reports and stuff in the office an immediate view of what's going on in the field. And we also pass down information on that television of importance to the next shifts coming on and stuff like that. The TV that's there right now is broken. It's got a big black spot in it. It's not under warranty, and we'd just like to dispose of it as soon as we can.
Okay. Make a motion that we authorize the chief to dispose of the damaged TV.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
12.2, consider an act on creating a new G-O-V, domain name for the city.
So this item is a .gov, and I'm filling in for Jeff on this one. We have been talking to them. Right now, our domain is your name at aransaspass.tx.gov, and people often think we're saying Arkansas Pass. They don't know what an Aransas is, can't spell it. We got to spell it to them. It's just it's a nightmare giving out our .gov domain. So I found that aptx.gov is available. Talked to Jeff and this PDIT guy. They all said, hey, yeah, let's go for it. And now they're allowing us to actually get that. It's like $400 a year, just like the one we currently have. We'd like to go ahead and get the aptx.gov in place. Keep the aransaspass.tx.gov for a transition period of at least a year, maybe longer, till everybody gets acclimated to the new one. With your approval, and if you do, we just need you, Mayor Pro Tem, to sign the approval letter. Or the mayor, rather, sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the creation of a new gov domain name for the city.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 12.3 is consider an act on terminating the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the City of Aransas Pass Police Department and Aransas Pass Independent School District for the School Resource Officer Program.
So basically, this is a request to terminate a formal agreement, basically, that's in place between the school and the police department. This does not change any working relationship or anything we're doing. The purpose of this is what I say is bad legislation by Texas. If we have an agreement with the school, we are bound by certain rules of engagement that aren't well defined by the Texas legislator. For example, they call it aversive techniques that say that police cannot be involved with people that are involved in the school exhibiting a behavior problem. A behavior problem is a school problem. Well, is a school shooter not a bad behavior problem? It is not clearly defined in the law. We've been talking with city attorney. City attorney's also working with or talking hopefully to the school to see if we can even salvage some type of agreement. Those talks are ongoing. So this item is to terminate the existing MOU so that we do not fall under the current Texas statute prohibiting aversive techniques.
So by canceling out this MOU, this gives you more tools to do your job?
This allows us to do the job that we've been doing for the past few years or several years that we've been in the school. With the aversive techniques, basically, we cannot be an agent of the school. If we are an agent of the school, we are clearly law enforcement. We are not mentors. We are not social workers. We are not anything other than that. We can't act in that role. We can't be participants in behavior-related issues. And again, like I said, where the complex comes into place, this is just a safeguard action. It's not really changing anything operational-wise. But where it's complicated is the legislator did not draw a distinction between behavior and crime. Crime is often an act of one's behavior. Without there being a distinction and there being an agreement in place, it opens, my belief, the city up to liability. And I just think that we need to look at this more closely through the legal department that is looking into it before we commit to any further agreement or modification thereof. I don't know if Roxanne would like to elaborate any.
The chief and I have spoken various times involving this legislation. And any further legal advice I have on it will be an executive session at a future date.
Thank you.
Council desires.
All right, I make a motion that we terminate the current MOU between the City of Aransas Pass Police Department and the Aransas Pass ISD.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 12.4 is the monthly public safety report for October 2019.
Okay, let me pull that up here so I can see it. Whoops. Is that mine or the fire department's there?
That says police.
Oh, hit the wrong. I jumped ahead like somebody else earlier. I won't say no names.
Me.
Anyways, getting onto this report, you'll see there's a few notes there. We had an increase of thefts this month, and most all of them that contributed to that increase were from Lowe's. They had one guy that continued to come back over and over and over again. We've since arrested him. We also had closure on a big case. And I think I might have told you guys about this or something a while back. We did put out information online where some guys were burglarizing a local apartment complex. They fled from the officers, lost the officers in the Price property. The following morning, we continued looking for them. We followed their rim tracks carved into the roadway, and we closed out a rather big identity theft and theft ring that was going on between here and all the way to San Antonio. That was great work by Patrol and CID on that. For CID, they basically are dealing still steadily with property crimes, mostly. They also perform sex offender checks during Halloween to keep our kiddos safe that were trick-or-treating. Training was a busy month. We had about 436 hours of staff training, either provided or participated in. The emergency manager is just basically doing some maintenance stuff and having meetings right now. And we had National Night Out, which was a great turnout this year during October. You can see the stats there. And if you scroll on down, you'll see the feedback that we get. We do surveys again, like I said, randomly. The worst score we got was an 8. And the complaint was that it took too long to get there, about 30 minutes. I think the actual time was 12 or 17 minutes. We did review the complaint from the person. 8's not acceptable if we can still achieve a 10. So we've looked into that to see what we could do or do better in the next time. And I think it's more of a perceptual thing on that one. And then you have a drive down or a drill down of some of the types of calls and stuff that we had. And this should be posting online. I'm not sure if I got it set up or not, but if it did, it'll be automatic. If not, it'll be on tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go to 12.5, the monthly fire department report for October.
Good evening. So the fire department did run 83 calls, and I think I put on there that That again, that's another increase. That's a 32% increase that we did from last year. Our calls have consistently ran about that 30 to 32% increase about every month. We also did a total of 16 inspections, and we're starting to add our captains in now to do some of the annual inspections to get them out there. And along with that annual inspections that they're going to be doing will be pre-fire planning. So when they come out to a business, they're not just there to do, check fire extinguishers, sprinklers, and all the safety stuff, but they're actually looking at how to plan in case this place was to catch on fire, where trucks should be positioned, how much water we're going to need, that type of stuff. So we really kind of made that more advanced. The guys also completed a total of 276 personnel hours of training. Most of that was in-house. Along with that training, we sent 3 of our drivers to aerial operator school in anticipation for the new truck coming in. So we already have 3 guys that are already certified by the state of Texas to run those trucks. Good. So that was a good thing. It was a great class. They're certified by the state. We also had 3 guys go to the car seat, child safety seat school. So, Casey, I don't know if people know that we have that program. We try to get it out there the best we can, but if you don't know how to put a car seat in, then they can come by there, and the guys will show them and make sure that the car seat's installed. We also sent 4 guys to CPR instructor school to continue to bring that CPR instruction at a very low cost to citizens or anyone else that would need that. And that program has been going pretty good. We have been running some minimal staff, and we have finally gotten back to full staff. I am fully staffed.
Good.
So we were really happy about that. We picked up some really good kids from here and there, and they are loving it down
Good.
there. Along with our training, I've now been able to graduate 2 of the classes that I set out to do this year. The Fire Service Chief Executive Officer class, that's through Texas A&M, and now the one I was at last week was the Fire Emergency, I say it wrong, Fire Executive Management Training, which is held through the Bill Blackwood Academy for Sam Houston, which is usually for police officers, where they go there for their Leadership Command College, the chief schools and all that. So it's a great program. I got a lot of stuff out of that. We were also busy with Fire Prevention Month. Of course, October is Fire Prevention Month. We estimated we saw about 1,100 kids and probably close to about 800 adults that week. The new Fire Safety House was a hit at both National Night Out, Bacon Fest, anywhere we set that thing up, the kids loved it. So that was a great purchase, and they really liked it. The new chief truck has been ordered more or less, and they're working it now. That it's processing through. The latest I've got on the new aerial truck right now is that they're basically getting all the parts together, and they've got the frame and all that. They just haven't started to the build yet. They have about, of that same truck, I know there's at least 6 of them being built right now that are all Texas trucks. So this truck has really caught on nationwide, and like I said, I know 6 of them that are being built right now are coming to Texas.
Good.
And ours should be right after that.
Good.
They're still saying that April looks like the time.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
That was a lot of information.
Nice, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Now we go to item 13, City Council or staff announcements. 13.1 is a workshop meeting on November the 25th, 2019 at 5:30.
That is correct. And the agenda's in flux right now, but we'll be getting back with you on the agenda.
Okay. And 13.2 is city holiday schedule.
Mary, what is that schedule?
Thanksgiving will be closed on Thursday, November 28th, and Friday, November 29th. City holidays.
Okay? Okay. Sounds good. We'll go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for matters that are not scheduled on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advise that this subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
Name's Donald Drummond, live at 902 South Rife. I'm gonna talk about the fence. Sometime between, I think it was 99 or 2000, the city hired Perry Construction to clean the ditch east of the railroad tracks. And he cleaned it, had it real nice and pretty. That's the reason Pelican Cove did not like to look across that ditch. He could see all them houses over there. Shortly after that, Perry Construction built the fence. After that, the city, we had to maintain that fence. About a month after they built it, we had a big rainstorm. The fence washed down. We had to straighten it back up. And it was a major pain in the you-know-what from then on out. And shortly after that, we was mowing the outside until we had to put the braces on the fence. Then we had to get in there with weed eaters to cut it. But shortly after that, 4 places along that fence, Pelican Cove residents used that fence as to hide their grass clippings and their tree trimmings. This went on for several years. But they should have somewhere in the city record somewhere who paid for the fence. I don't know, I was working for the city, but I don't know who paid for it. Perry Construction built it. That's it.
Thanks, Donald. Anybody else?
Good evening,
Good
Pro
evening.
Tem and Council. How are y'all?
Good.
My name is Jesse Green. I live at 132 West Stapp Avenue in Aransas Pass. And if y'all don't know where that is, that's leaving Aransas, the last light out. If you make a right to go to the harbor, you make a left. That's Stapp. I'm here in reference to a city zoning variance board meeting that was held on or about the 4th of November in here. And the zoning board approved variances for this developer to have less parking spots than needed or than what the code says it's supposed to have. And like I said, they approved it, and I didn't know when I got the letter that it was gonna be a first and final meeting. You know, so I didn't know anything about if I could have had any legal say or whatnot. I had no idea. And I've never had a conviction to run for public office, and I still don't. You know, I appreciate the people that do, and I just hope that the people that do hold up their oath and protect the citizens of the city. And where I'm going with that is that this is supposed to be some type of temporary units or whatnot to in the letter it said up to 3 stories tall. Well, you know, and it's supposed to be most temporary, some permanent. But it's, like I said, it's right in my backyard. So 3 stories up, looking down in my backyard, you know, and giving them, how do you say, approval to take away 15 foot of the city, what do you call that? Easement.
Right away.
Easement. You know, I don't, and letting them have less parking spots than needed. I've had people park in my easement, and I've called the police about it, and they say it's really not your property, and they're not doing anything wrong. They're just sleeping it off. So there's nothing I can do, you know. And I feel that with this building that or these units that they're talking about building, and God forbid they be yellow, blue, green, and white like the ones that are, 2 miles down the road from me headed to Rockport. I don't know if that's what they're gonna be or not, but, like I said, God forbid that, because, the board was happy that it was something being developed in my neighborhood, like, it's not the greatest neighborhood, but all development isn't good development.
Right.
You know, so I implore you guys to look into this, I don't know if anything can be done about what they've already done, but the planner, I talked with him after the meeting, and he said, well, what's the problem? And I said, well, that's me. Oh,
The 3 minutes are up.
That's 3 minutes, okay. All right, well, anyway, y'all got an idea of what I.
Thank you so much, Jesse. We'll now go into executive session, 15-1, section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with its attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to, number one, groundwater tank storage on Avenue A, and number two, city council will also be going into executive session regarding the monthly safety report.
The time is 6:50.
I'm sorry.
Okay, and section 15-2, section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with its attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act, and section 551.074 to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee relating to, number one, alternate municipal court judge, and number two, city attorney. And the time is now 6:51. to consider and take action, if any, on any item discussed in executive session, and the time is, anybody have a time?
7:50.
7:50.
And no action necessary.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.